The jungle breathed. That was the only word Caelum Reyes had left for it. Breathing. The canopy above him pulsed with faint bioluminescent light, inhaling and exhaling in rhythms too slow and too deliberate to be coincidence. Somewhere in the dark tangle of silver-veined roots and floating amber spores, something was watching him. Something had been watching him for 3 days. He didn't care anymore. His boots were split open at the sole. His water purifier had shorted out on the second night when the rains came. Rains that fell upward here, defying every law he'd been taught to trust. His ration pack held exactly one item, a vacuum-sealed sandwich, pressed flat and golden, that his wife Maya had packed for him on the morning of the crash. For when you need it most, she'd written on the seal in black marker. Her handwriting, still perfect, still hers. Maya was gone. The crash had taken her before Caelum even knew they were falling. One moment she was laughing at something on her datapad. The next silence. He hadn't opened the sandwich. He couldn't. Opening it felt like saying goodbye a second time, and he was not ready. He was not sure he would ever be ready. He sat down against the roots of something ancient, a tree that rose so high its crown vanished into violet cloud, and pressed the sealed sandwich against his chest like a wound. You cannot eat grief. The voice came from above him, not from the canopy, from a branch 3 feet over his head, where a figure crouched with the impossible stillness of someone who had been there for a very long time and had simply been waiting to be noticed. She was watching him with large liquid brown eyes that caught the bioluminescent glow and held it like lanterns. Caelum did not flinch. He was past flinching. "No," he said quietly. "But I've been trying." She descended. Not climbed, not jumped. Descended, as though gravity were merely a suggestion she chose to follow. Her bare feet touched the root beside him without sound. Up close, she was both more alien and more heartbreakingly familiar than he expected. Silver-blue skin. Markings like river deltas curving across her cheeks. Ears that tapered to elegant points. But her eyes were the eyes of someone who had sat in the dark and bargained with the universe and lost. "You carry that thing close," she said, nodding at the sandwich. "But you do not eat it." "Why?" "Because someone I loved made it," Caelum said. "And if I eat it, she's more gone." The female was quiet for a long moment. The jungle breathed around them both. "My name is Lyra," she finally said. "I have been watching you since the fire in the sky. Your vessel." "Caelum." "The crash." He exhaled. "Yeah. You are the only one who walked out." It wasn't a question. He nodded anyway. Lyra sat beside him, not close enough to touch, but close enough to share the warmth of the root. She pulled her knees to her chest and stared at the glowing spores drifting through the air between the trees. "I was widowed too," she said, so simply that the words landed like stones dropped into still water. 3 cycles ago. A sickness that does not have a name in your language. He was the last of my kind who remembered the old songs. He paused. "I have been eating only root water since then. Not because there is no food. Because eating felt like choosing to stay, and I had not decided yet." Caelum turned to look at her fully for the first time. There were no tears on her face. That was the thing that struck him hardest. Not because she wasn't grieving. He could see it in every line of her posture, every carefully measured breath, but because she had gone so far past the point where tears came that she existed now in the dry country beyond them. He knew that country intimately. "Have you decided yet?" he asked. She met his eyes. "Not yet." "You." He looked down at the sandwich. Maya's handwriting. "For when you need it most." For 3 days he had been telling himself that moment hadn't come. But sitting here in an alien jungle, beside a silver-skinned woman who had also lost everything, who had also been surviving on something thinner than food. He understood, with a clarity that felt like cold water on a burn, that Maya hadn't written those words to mean when you are hungriest. She had written them to mean when you cannot go on alone. This was the moment. "I think," Caelum said slowly, "that my wife packed enough for two." Lyra stared at him. The bioluminescent markings on her cheeks flickered, just slightly, like a candle flame catching wind. "You would share it. Your last thing from her." "I think she would have wanted me to." His voice cracked once, then steadied. "She was the kind of person who always packed extra." He broke the seal. The sound was small and ordinary and devastating. The smell rose between them. Bread, something herbed, warmth that had survived 200 miles of alien atmosphere sealed in vacuum. Lyra leaned forward slightly, despite herself. Her nostrils flared. For the first time, something moved behind her careful stillness. Hunger. Real hunger. The kind that comes when you remember suddenly that you want to live. Caelum broke the sandwich in half with careful hands. He held out one half to her. She took it. Her fingers, 4 of them silver blue cool against his weathered skin, brushed his palm as she accepted it. Neither of them pulled away quickly. They ate in silence, side by side against the ancient root, while the jungle breathed around them and alien spores drifted like slow gold stars through the dark. The sandwich tasted exactly like Caelum remembered. Simple, warm, full of someone who had loved him enough to think ahead. He let himself cry once, quietly, and Lyra did not look away. She put her 4 cool fingers over his compass tattoo and left them there until he was finished. When the last of it was gone, she looked at the empty seal in his hands. What was her name? Maya. Lyra repeated it carefully, tasting the syllables like something sacred. Maya. Then, after a long pause, "My husband's name was Sorrel. He would have found you very strange and very interesting." "That sounds about right," Caelum said. For the first time in 3 days, maybe longer, something almost like a smile moved across Lyra's face. Not wide, not easy, but real, the way a single green shoot through cracked stone is real. "There is a shelter," she said, 2 hours through the eastern grove. I know which roots give clean water and which fungi will not kill a human. I have tested one of them myself." He paused. "I was going to test the others alone." "Not alone," Caelum said. She stood and offered him her hand. 4 fingers silver blue, still holding the faint warmth from the food they had shared. He took it. Above them, the jungle exhaled, slow and vast, and the bioluminescent light pulsed once, like a heartbeat finding its rhythm again after a long, long silence. They walked east. Together. Both of them still broken. Both of them for the first time choosing to stay.